I'm going to go over the Whitehouse Dozier School for Boys in the 1960s, how it relates to the encounter with Theodore Bundy. It remotely does, but in my mindset, I was used that there would be bad people in the world. I knew there would be bad people. A neighbor boy, he was the oldest. I would say he was probably 8 or 9 years old. Let's see, no, maybe 6 years older than me. So I would say I was 11 or 12, about the same time that we had the encounter with Bundy. The lady across the street was divorced. Her husband was abusive. She had the teenage son. She had a younger son who would be, maybe if I was 12, he would be 13, and then Craig would be 16, 17, something like that. And little Janice was, if I was 12, she would have been about 10. Well, Craig became a burglar, and over in Confederate Point, he had built a tunnel. And in that cave tunnel, he put the radios and portable TVs and maybe some jewelry, whatever his burglary, Gantt shirts, whatever he was putting down there. I even see that cave because that was very dangerous. It was made out. There were no pillars to hold it up. Eventually, he got caught in his burglary. The father was away from the family, so he was sent to the boys' reformatory in Whitehouse, Marietta, Florida. And my father and mother kind of looked out after Miss Eve because of her car had a hot, what is it called? Shoot, fueler. What's it called? I can't think of it. But anyway, the antifreeze or something like that. My dad would help her fix the antifreeze. He put a new element on the hot water heater. He knew how to do some mechanical things, so they help him out. And anyway, she wanted to see Craig, we'll call him Craig, in Whitehouse. I thought I would go. My God, it was a long, long trip. I think I had a couple comic books and a Mad magazine, and I went. And I drove, and we drove. For all I knew, we were in South Georgia, Marietta, Mariana. I don't know where we were. But I wasn't allowed to go in to see Craig. But Mrs. Eve and my dad and mom were allowed to go in to see Craig. I know from roller skating rink, and there was a band called Mouse and the Boys. Guy's name was something like Terry Mouse Samples, and they had Mouse and the Boys, and they were quite well known. They became kind of a little famous band in the 60s and 70s, and for some reason, I think one of them may have had to go to Dozier Boys School. I don't know, for some reason, but I do know that at the roller rink, if a kid came in with his hair shaved, who was a bit older than us, 15, 16, that meant he had been at the reformatory because they shaved their heads. Anyway, it was very bad there. So Craig, with his underground tunnel, he tried to hide the fact that he had been burglarizing things by setting the woods on fire, which actually helped Confederate Point because they had to clear that land. And I believe Bundy may have had some kind of few days over there, maybe getting some under the table day labor when we met him in June of 67. So anyway, we ride to Dozier, and they go in, and I'm not allowed to go in. And there was this little white structure, and I remember, because I was, there was a fence, but there was a little white structure, and my dad was from Tupelo, Ecru, Mississippi. My mom was from Philadelphia. And it, only thing they had little windows, and I walked in it, didn't have a door, you could walk right in. And there was so this was in the mid 60s, say, maybe it had to have been around not too far from the time that we ran into him. Maybe I was about a year younger than the time we ran into Bundy, but around that time. Anyway, I went into this little white house, and there was a concrete slab. So, like you might see in a mortician's office, right? It had like a valley where stuff could run off of it. So I figured, oh, this must be some type of slaughterhouse. And it turns out that that's one of the places they would take the boys to beat them, in that little White House. But little girls were not allowed to go in the facility. And I remember thinking, oh my, the drive was so long. But Dad took Eve, and we went there. And later on, he had a lot of trauma. I remember one time he fell off this railing at the neighbor's house, and he smacked the garage floor so hard. It was like a railing. You'd have like a little balcony area where you could sit at Miss Eccles's house. And we were all playing around, and Craig got up on that railing, and somehow he's trying, I don't know why he was going to jump or stand, and he smacked the ground. I thought, oh my God. And he said, you don't love me, Mom, whatever. And I'm sure she did love him, but that was upsetting, hitting that I didn't, see somebody hit the concrete. But he was back from the school by then, and it must have been that bad. My mom and dad must have said, "Get him out of that. That ain't a good place." Anyway, these are the events of my life. I'm 71 now. Thank you.